It's Game 5 in Calgary between the Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames. David, our coverage here on the fourth period brought to you by BitBuy. Use referral code TFP and receive up to $50 in free crypto while terms and conditions apply. This series now a best of 3, but I think we're going to go back to games 1 and 2 where very tight checking and it's probably a low-scoring game.
Yeah, get the Red Bulls, get the espressos, get the coffee, get whatever you're getting to help you through this one. I think you're right. I think we're going to see a much similar game to what we saw at the start of this series. More clamp down, more defensive style. Get the lead if you can, and then just hold the fort. That looks to be the game plan, I think, for both of these teams in this one. You don't want to see a club start to run away with the game and run away with the series. Calgary really stuck it to the Dallas Stars in Game 4. They controlled the pace of play. They controlled the neutral zone. They got 54 shots on net. 50 stops, by the way, for Jake Ottinger. So, I mean, that's great. But at some point, you're going to have to clamp things down a little bit more if you're the Dallas Stars in this one. And from Calgary's side of things, you're going to want to try to get that lead and then hunker down, because you give either of these teams an ounce, they're going to go a mile, if that makes any sense. And you got to make sure that you tighten things up in this one. I think we're going to see that.
Well, you look at yesterday, David, and you see the Stars come out to play for both the Toronto Maple Leafs and the LA Kings. And I think it's time that some of these stars start to shine bright for the Dallas Stars and Calgary Flames.
Right, exactly. If you look on Calgary's side, Johnny Gaudreau has 1 goal. It came on the power play. Matthew Tkachuk, 0. That means his shooting percentage, 0. It's not good. They're going to need these guys to get going. Matthew Tkachuk is a spark for his team, no question. But at the same time, maybe enough of the rough stuff a little bit. Stay out of the box. Stop trying to draw some guys into fights and scraps. It doesn't really change the tide in this series, as we've seen for the most part through the first 4 games. We need you, if you're Calgary, the message to Matthew Tkachuk, we need you to be more offensive. We need the guy who scored 100-plus points in this season, along with his linemate Johnny Gaudreau, to get going. And from Dallas' side of things, while the secondary scoring started to play a factor in terms of creating opportunities, they're going to need to bury a little bit more here. We're going to need to see, as they spread out the offense and spread the lines out, you're going to need to see Jamie Benn getting in on the offense. Tyler Seguin, again, getting in on the offense as well. Joe Pavelski in the first line, Robertson and Hintz have been creating opportunities. Pavelski's really the only guy scoring, but you're going to need more guys to get that going. And if we don't see that happen, Irf, in this game from either side, yeah, you're going back to games 1 and 2.
Well, I think the biggest thing, too, is the special teams battle. And look, they're both 2 for 17. And the Calgary Flames this season were very, very good in their special teams side of things. And you look at the Dallas Stars, I mean, yes, they have a very good penalty kill. They're both in the top 5 right now in the penalty kill in the National Hockey League playoffs. But something's got to give here for both of their special teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from that perspective, I think both teams realize and recognize the fact that at some point, someone's power play is going to get rolling here. So I think that's why we may see things clamp down a little bit at the risk of creating penalties, creating offensive opportunities. You don't want to see that happen. You look back to last night between the Los Angeles Kings and the Edmonton Oilers. LA was dominating 5-on-5. They gave up too many penalties, and Edmonton just pounced all over it. They threw in a shorthanded goal as well in the mix as they tried to tie it, LA ultimately winning it. But you don't want to get to that chance. You don't want to give the opposition too much leeway, because sometimes you run out of time and you can't catch up. So I think things are certainly going to be clamped down. But if the power plays get going for these teams, that could be a problem for the other club. So, yeah, clamp things down.
Should be a fun one tonight at the Saddledome, David. Really looking forward to watching this one tonight. It's the Flames, it's the Stars, and it's Game 5.